Good morning. Welcome to the Week 14 slate. As we've discussed all week, fantasy playoff spots hang in the balance today. Hopefully you've got a spot locked up, but if you do not, here for any last-minute thoughts that any of the members may be looking for as far as any final decisions for your lineup. Again, as mentioned throughout the past, several weeks on the channel, Sunday mornings are for the members, the member-only chat. Everybody is available to or eligible to watch the show or watch the stream, but members will have access to the chat. I will give my thoughts on the latest injury updates as an overarching, info dump for everybody to work with. But the members will have access to the chat. If you are not a member and would like to ask questions, you can join at the lowest tier of memberships, which is 99 cents a month. That'll get you access to Sunday morning streams for the rest of the season. There's only a few left, but they are the playoff weeks, if that is of interest to you, and they will get you priority responses. Becoming a member will get you priority responses to questions in the public chats, so you will get your answers faster when the chat is available to everybody. So we'll go over the latest injury updates, and then I can give my thoughts from an overarching perspective. About your potential options, your potential scenarios. Let's see what I got here. A lot of updates rolled in overnight. We knew about Kenneth Walker. We knew about Bucky Irving is expected to play. Jacoby Myers is expected to play week 14, so we're firing him up as a wide receiver too. Alexander Madison not expected to play week 14. Zamir White has already been ruled out. We could be getting a Sincere McCormick legacy game today against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I definitely ruffled some feathers with my video earlier this week about Sincere McCormick, but lo and behold, he's probably going to get an expanded opportunity today alongside Amir Abdullah. So you would figure Abdullah will see the passing downs, third down pass catching opportunities, and is viable in PPR leagues. Sincere McCormick is officially, he's on that RB3 radar. And a guy that is absolutely worth considering firing up if you desperately need it. I think I had a question earlier this morning between Sincere and Marvin Harrison. I think I would still go Harrison in that scenario, but that is the range of where Sincere is should be in the rankings, like around the top 75 in flex rankings, top 75, 80 options. That puts him squarely on the RB3 roadmap and a guy that you can consider flexing. So interesting to see how that backfield will shake out. George Pickens is expected to play today, but he will be testing his hamstring pregame. Again, we will be getting injury updates rolling through at the bottom of the hour. So in about 25 minutes from now, we will get official injury designations for those who are on the injury report. So guys like George Pickens, we will find out if they're ultimately able to give it a go. Same with the likes of Malik Neighbors, so on and so forth. So Let's keep it close to the ground, eyes and ears close to any new updates about George Pickens. And while he is expected to play, still will test things out pregame to see how he's feeling. DJ Moore and DeAndre Swift both expected to play week 14 for the Bears against the San Francisco 49ers. That is that's a good development for the Bears offense. It's a good development for Caleb Williams. DJ Moore remains in your lineup. I still think you can fire up Keenan Allen because Moore might be a little bit less than 100% going today. And DeAndre Swift is on the RB2 roadmap. The 49ers are dealing with a slew of injuries, including to star edge rusher Nick Bosa. He will not play again today for San Francisco. Their defense is not as intimidating as it used to be. So you can fire up your Bears. And in deeper leagues or obviously in superflex formats, you can fire up Caleb with a decent amount of confidence. Malik Neighbors will try to play week 14, could be limited in his role. The Giants obviously have absolutely nothing to play for and do not want to risk their star receiver any more than they have to. They clearly want to play him, and I'm sure he wants to play. You probably have to fire him up if he's active, but it's going to be difficult to trust Neighbors from here on out just because of the state of the offense and also the threat of him ultimately being shut down. The Giants do not intend to shut him down. That's what I last saw. But, things can change in a hurry. Depending on how things shake out over the next couple of weeks. Kenneth Walker could return next week. That doesn't matter for this week, though. Ladd McConkey is a true game time decision for week 14. So this is frustrating because it's Sunday night football. If you have a viable alternative to Ladd McConkey, and you don't have anything viable like Quentin Johnston or DeAndre Hopkins on the other side for the Chiefs, if you don't have anything viable as a real-time pivot to Ladd McConkey, you may want to seriously consider moving off of him. So, like Jacoby Myers, I'd rather play over Ladd McConkey. Calvin Ridley, Garrett Wilson, DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. I mean, at this point, Jawan Jennings might be safer. Khalil Shakir is probably safer. DJ Moore is safer. I'd rather play Ladd than somebody like Marvin Harrison, but I know Marv is going to play, so I might go Marv. I'd probably go Keenan Allen over Ladd McConkey. A Darnell Mooney probably makes a little bit more sense. Where it starts to get hairy is the Brian Thomas, Jordan Addison, Elijah Moore, Adam Thielen type range for wide receivers. I would prefer to play Ladd over all of those guys, but we don't know if we're going to have Ladd tonight, so you probably just have to take the safer pivot unless you have somebody like a DeAndre Hopkins because they play in the same game. You could wait until kickoff to find out if Ladd's going to go and pivot to Hopkins in that scenario. So it depends on what your options are. But if you do have Ladd McConkey, I would seriously consider making other plans. It's just annoying to have to deal with a player who's a game time decision on Sunday night. Raheem Mostert not expected to play today. Dalton Kincaid not expected to play today. So Dawson Knox is on the streaming radar. Good matchup against the Rams. Yeah. Knox is streamable. Probably over like Kyle Pitts, over Cole Kmet, maybe even over like a Mike Gesicki. I'd probably prefer to play him over somebody like Jake Ferguson as well. First game back after missing a couple of weeks. Bad offense. Yeah. So he's on the tight end 15-ish radar. Dawson Knox is today. Keon Coleman, a game time decision for week 14. Hopefully you do have other options other than Keon Coleman. And Breece Hall could return next week. It's possible that Breece returns for the Jets. We'll see how things go. If they lose to the Dolphins today, we'll see if they're singing the same tune this time next week. I think those are the latest injury updates that we have. Let's see. No questions at the moment. Those are the latest injury updates. Okay. I guess what I can do is continue to prioritize member questions as they come in, but I will open it up to subscribers as well. Let me see if I can update this. Okay. All right. I'll open it up for subs as well if anybody needs anything, and let the Discord know. With an hour and 45 minutes to go till kickoff, we can open it up especially since it is playoff clinch. Clinching scenarios possibly going, that you have going on. So we'll open up the chat. And then let me get my Discord friends a link. Cool. All right. Let the Discord friends know. And we're good to go. If you are interested in becoming a member, first link in the description, I believe, of the live stream. There also might be a join button, depending on if you're on mobile or on a desktop or a laptop. There should be a join option. And if you don't see that, then there should be details in the first link in the description of the stream that'll give you the information and the details that you might be looking for. So Knox or Jawan Johnson. So we obviously, Knox is interesting because he'll have the opportunity all to himself against the Rams, which is a great matchup. Jawan Johnson, on the other hand, gets the Giants, also a beautiful matchup. And no Taysom Hill anymore. I don't mind. I guess I don't mind Jawan. The one concern I have is it's a road game for a dome team, and it might be a little cold in New York, and it might be a little windy. What's the wind situation in East Rutherford right now? 7-mile-per-hour winds. Okay, that's not too bad. Jawan Johnson saw his route participation tick up last week, which makes sense because Taysom Hill went down during that game. He turned 7 targets last week into 5 catches for 36 yards. That was against the Rams. It's a good matchup for Knox. Jawan has been a little bit more relevant recently. I think I lean Jawan. Both are viable. What's going on, Greg? Good to see you. Both are viable streams. I guess I give the slight nod to Jawan. He's just been a little bit more relevant recently than Knox, although I will say I like Knox's matchup better. So if you prefer the matchup, Knox. But if I had to rank them straight up, I would probably rank Jawan ahead of Knox just because he's performed more recently. He's performed at a higher level than Knox recently, and a couple of those games were with Taysom Hill before he even got hurt. So I'll say Jawan, but I do like Knox. What's going on, Crumbly Heads? Good to see you, man. Oh boy, one cup of coffee is not going to be enough this morning. I'll tell you that. Neighbors, Metcalf, Braylon Allen, my guy Sincere McCormick. You got to play Metcalf. I'm tempted to tell you to just play Neighbors and hope for the best. Obviously, it's incredibly dicey with him being potentially limited today. But he's obviously far and away the best player of the remaining options. Normally, Neighbors would be a slam dunk. I would say because of these concerns about his, about his availability today and whether he may or may not be a full go. I will say Metcalf and Braylon Allen. I'll say Metcalf and Braylon Allen with no Breece Hall. I think Braylon Allen has RB1. We rank him an RB2 on the week. He has RB1 upside. Neighbors could be limited in his role. While it's a great matchup and Neighbors is awesome, I don't want to mess around with somebody who might only be playing half of the snaps. Whereas I know Braylon Allen will be out there for the Jets. I like McCormick today. I think he's on the RB3 radar, but he will cede work to Amir Abdullah. Whereas Allen, I think, figures to have the backfield mostly to himself today for the Jets. So I'll say Metcalf and Braylon Allen. Neighbors, too much concern around how available he'll be today. So give me Metcalf, give me Braylon Allen. You got one team in, Crumply Heads. We're okay, and we're just at the mercy of other results. If you make it in another league, I mean, hey, that's just the game, right? Where it's a waiting game. This is the time of year where you become a fan of other teams. And we can sort out what you need. While you post those, I'll take Greg's question. Yep, Rico was the 0 RB winner. Nicely done. I don't mind picking up Sincere McCormick, but I'm not playing him over Rico Dowdle, and the Zach Martin news doesn't change that for me. Dowdle will continue to get the rock. I don't trust Debo. I don't trust Debo at all today. I don't think I trust Debo for the rest of the season. Just blanket statement. I do not trust Debo Samuel. I don't trust him this week. I don't trust him in week 15. I don't trust him in week 16. And I don't trust him week 17. Will he have a good game somewhere in that stretch? Maybe. Possibly. I don't want to play the Russian roulette game with Debo of like whether it'll finally be a Debo week in critical win or go home weeks, and he hasn't given you a reason to believe for the most part this year. So, I like Sincere as a potential pickup. It would just depend on who you would be dropping. I like Westbrook Akine as well. It just depends on who you would be dropping. I don't know if I'm ready to drop Debo Samuel yet, but by week 6, if Deebo Samuel has a bad game today, we're potentially, maybe not everybody, but I wouldn't be opposed to potentially dropping him for the fantasy playoffs. Yeah. So let's hold and see what happens with Deebo today. If he duds again, I actually might be ready to move on and just drop him for the fantasy playoffs for somebody who's a little bit more viable. Yeah, I don't want to mess around with Deebo, but McCormick and Nick Westbrook-Akine are definitely on the pickup radar. Yeah, it's been a disappointing year for Deebo. And the 49ers offense is a shell of itself right now, so there's no reason to believe. Let's see. Crumply Heads has his, he dropped his rosters in Discord, so I will take a look at those now. If you would like to join my Discord, that link is in the second link in the description of this live stream and all of the videos and streams on the channel. I think the first one looks good. Crumply Heads, yeah. First lineup looks good. Nothing to worry about there. And then for the second roster, Bijan, Jennings, Higgins, Otten, Westbrook-Akine, Braylon Allen, nice. Yeah, this is fine. I was just I saw Jalen Warren. I was like, but no, this is fine. I guess I may play Warren over Westbrook-Akine, but it's close. It's tight. If you want to fire up Westbrook-Akine and hope for a 30-yard touchdown, which is what he's been doing for the past 8 weeks, then that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. I'm good with it, Crumply Heads. I'm good with both lineups. The only consideration I might look into is Warren instead of Westbrook-Akine, but it's not we're splitting hairs. If you'd rather play the upside play, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Yeah. Looks good. Looks good, Crumply Heads. Let's see. Russ or Kyler today. And it's 4-point passing touchdowns. Russ gets Cleveland. And Russ has been quite good. Kyler has been very up and down this year and gets a beatable. He does get the Seahawks, which is a very beatable opponent. Russ cooked last week, 3 touchdowns, 400 yards passing against the Bengals. The Bengals defense is atrocious. He plays Cleveland today. He played Cleveland 2 weeks ago. That was on a short week road game. 21 completions, 270 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown. He also lost a fumble. Russ did. Tough matchup against Cleveland. But it is a home game for Pittsburgh, so you feel a little bit better about his chances. Ditto for Kyler. It's a home game against Seattle. Both of these guys are in division matchups, so that does add an extra wrinkle of potential weirdness for those games. The problem with Kyler is he only has 2 games this year with more than 1 passing score. And you're obviously hoping for him to come through in the form of rushing production, which has not been consistent from Kyler this year. Basically, Kyler is like the roller coaster. The Kyler Murray experience is not always a fun one. I would say Russ is your floor play. Your safe play, and Kyler is your upside play if you think you need to be aggressive. So it depends on what you need. Russ to play it safe. Kyler is high ceiling, low floor. The 4-point passing touchdown scoring makes Kyler incredibly volatile because he only has 2 games this year where he's thrown more than 1 touchdown for that week, which is not good. So Russ floor, Kyler is the ceiling play because of what he brings on the ground, but that doesn't always hit either. So he's high risk, high reward. Russ is safe. Depends on what you need. Is J.K. Dobbins droppable? Yes, he's droppable. He went on injured reserve, I believe, ahead of last week. So he's also going to miss weeks 14, week 15, and week 16. Dobbins is eligible potentially to come back championship week 17. But two things. One, we have to get there first for it to matter. And two, would we even trust Dobbins in his first game back in championship week, having missed 4 games? And that's assuming he's even eligible to come back and available to come back week 17. Yes, Dobbins can be dropped. McCormick is a perfectly fine pickup in place of J.K. Dobbins. We can move on. Unfortunately, Dobbins was having a really good year, but we can move on from him. I would absolutely drop J.K. Dobbins for somebody like Sincere McCormick. No question. Yeah. He needs to be I don't know what scenario it would come up where we would feel good about firing up J.K. Dobbins championship week after a 4-game absence. Difficult to feel good about that one. Okay. Let's see. What's going on, MVM? Good to see you. Herbert, Wilson, Winston, or Levis? I mean, first of all, I think I have to go Rico in your flex. I'm bullish on Rico Dowdle and have been all year, so maybe that's a bit of a maybe I'm a little. I don't think I have tunnel vision on it. I think Rico has been, for what we drafted him to be, Rico has worked out, has panned out. So excited about that having worked out this year, and it's a great matchup against Cincinnati. It's a spectacular matchup against the Bengals. You want to start any player you can on offense against Cincinnati's defense. I would start my punter against Cincinnati if we got punter fantasy points. Somehow he would come through with 10 points. That's how bad the Bengals are. At least on defense. I want to play anybody I can against the Bengals. So give me Rico Dowdle for your flex. As far as your quarterbacks, Herbert against Kansas City, potentially without Ladd McConkey, makes me hesitant on him, and it's a road game. Russ against Cleveland is dicey. Winston against Pittsburgh on the road is also dicey. However, we expect Winston to come through with volume. Levis is in a great matchup against Jacksonville, but he doesn't inspire a ton of confidence. My answer here, if Ladd McConkey wasn't on the injury report and we knew he was playing, my answer would easily be Herbert. But the fact that he's on the injury report and is a game time decision on Sunday Night Football, we're not going to know until tonight if he's available. That's a situation that I think I'm okay with avoiding. I think my answer here is Russ. It's a revenge game for Pittsburgh. They just played Cleveland two weeks ago on a short week. They lost to the Steelers. They lost that game. So this is a revenge game for them at home. Russ didn't play great against Cleveland last time out, but that was also on a short week and he was on the road. Now he's at home with a full week of rest and preparation for Pittsburgh in this game. I'll take Russ. Winston has downside against the Steelers on the road. Levis is just difficult to trust. And Herbert would be my answer if I knew Ladd McConkey for sure was playing tonight, but we're not going to know that until after the 1 p.m. East kickoffs. So let's just play Russ. Bucky Irving active for week 14. No surprise there. Raheem Mostert inactive for week 14. No surprise there. Alexander Madison inactive. Again, Sincere McCormick legacy game incoming. Jacoby Myers active for week 14. Kendre Miller active for week 14. I'm curious to see how he does. He got done dirty by Dennis Allen, that piece of shit old coach for the Saints that nobody seemed to like. And for whatever reason, he hated Kendre Miller so much that he put him on injured reserve when he didn't need to go on injured reserve. So I'm curious to see how a hungry Kendre Miller, a motivated Kendre Miller does today in a great matchup against the Giants. We'll for sure get more injury reports coming in here. Josh Reynolds inactive today. That is not fantasy relevant. All right, that's all I see so far. But they will continue to roll in. Let's check X and see if the beat reporters have anything else here. No other major updates here yet as far as fantasy relevant ins and outs. We'll continue to keep tabs on that. See if there's any other updates between now and say like the top of the hour. Braylon Allen over Jennings. I would. I like Jawan Jennings, but what I don't like right now is the state of the rest of the 49ers offense. Purdy is banged up. Trent Williams is out. Aaron Banks is out. Their left side of their offensive line is out. Obviously, their whole backfield is out. McCaffrey and Mason on injured reserve. We're down to Isaac Guerrero, who I like. I'm interested in, but I'm not sure how he'll do today with like a patchwork 49ers offense as the bell cow. But we'll see. So I'm not sure about Jennings today. Jennings is a good football player. It has nothing to do with him. It has everything to do with everything else going on around him with that 49ers offense. I'll take Braylon Allen. He's going to get, we can project that he will get bell cow opportunities today. I'll take Braylon Allen over Jennings, regardless of scoring. Even in PPR, I would take Braylon Allen slightly over Jennings. Half PPR or standard, there's more of a gap in Allen's favor. But even in full PPR, I'd probably play Braylon Allen. Oh, this is okay. Wow. George Pickens is out. George Pickens is inactive today. That makes my MVM, that makes my Russ suggestion a little bit more concerning. Let me I'm gonna let Discord know. George Pickens inactive. Yeah. Okay. George Pickens is out. George Pickens is out. That changes everything for the Steelers offense. I don't like Russ anywhere close to as much without Pickens. Man, I think my answer now, regardless of Ladd McConkey's, I think MVM. I'm just going to go back to this. I think my answer now is Herbert, even with the concerns about Ladd McConkey. Herbert is still a good quarterback, and they're going to have to throw the ball against Kansas City. They're not going to be able to run. They're going to have to throw. So I think Herbert could come through with volume. I'll officially take Herbert over Russ. I don't like Russ as much now without George Pickens. And then as far as defenses, I mean, are the Tennessee Titans available? I don't want to play the Falcons or the Seahawks, to be completely honest. MVM, I'd rather avoid them. I'd rather play Arizona than Seattle in that game. It's a revenge game for the Cardinals, and it's a home game, a division home game. I'd rather play Arizona than Seattle. But if Tennessee is available, that would be my pick. They're playing Jacksonville, Mac Jones, bad offense. Um, Tennessee has a good front four. I would expect they have an okay day today. Tennessee would be my recommendation if they are available. If they're not, then I would check and see if Arizona is available. I'd rather play them than Seattle. Revenge game in the division. I think they'll do okay today. Yep. Let's see. Aaron Jones or Tyrone Tracy. I mean, Aaron Jones has been my guy forever. You have to play Aaron Jones at home against the Falcons. I mean, they're both in great matchups, but I'll take the better player on the better team. Um, give me Aaron Jones over Tyrone Tracy. And yeah, you can play Kyler over Russ now. That's fine. I'll play Kyler over Russ. At least Kyler has his weapons, and there's no, they're playing in a dome, so no weather concerns. I'll take Kyler over Russ with no Pickens for sure. Yeah, Aaron Jones over Tracy, Kyler over Russ. Russ, we need to drop down the rankings multiple spots. He was around the QB 13 based on, just if I had to rank the quarterbacks. He's in that like low end QB1, high end QB2 range. He's probably now down closer to the you know, I'd put him probably around QB 17, 18, 19, somewhere around there. So middling, boring QB2. I don't feel good about his upside. So yeah, let's pivot off of Russell Wilson with no George Pickens. If Ladd is out, Pacheco, Disley, Quentin Johnston, or Gus. I would say plan to play. Well, at least you have all of these guys available to you, and you can wait until we get until we get Sunday Night Football inactives and updates and all that good stuff. So if you'll have to move off of him. I guess I would say Pacheco. I think my answer would be Pacheco if you have to pivot off of Ladd. I'll take a Chiefs running back. I mean, and we expect Pacheco to be their starter for the playoffs and maybe assume a bell cow role in the playoffs. I do not think he's going to get a bell cow role tonight. I think Kareem Hunt will remain involved, not just tonight, but for the rest of the season as they kind of ease Pacheco back into action. They want him fresh and ready to go for the playoffs. Which they have already clinched. The Chiefs have already clinched their playoff berth, so they're not going to be playing with a whole lot of desperation for the rest of the year. They can monitor their guys and kind of rotate players in. I think Kareem Hunt will remain involved until the NFL playoffs, and then Pacheco gets unleashed. So I don't think we can expect a bell cow role. However, he is back. He's now has a game under his belt since returning from the injury. I'll take Pacheco. As I would prefer. If Ladd is active, I would play Ladd, but if he's inactive, I would play Pacheco. So, yep. Let's see if we have any other injury updates. Jalen Coker inactive. Jatavian Sanders is active. Good for him, man. He had a nasty injury a couple of weeks ago where he fell on his head or like landed upside down on his head. Is going to suit up and play today for the Panthers in a tough matchup against the Eagles. Jatavian Sanders is a dog. Malik Neighbors is active for week 14. Again, probably somebody who's difficult to trust today. If you're talking about asking Neighbors versus dart throws, then you just probably got to play Neighbors and hope for the best. But if you have viable pivots, I would strongly consider them. Neighbors is on the injury report for multiple injuries, a groin injury, a hip injury. It's been alluded to throughout the week that he could be limited in his role today. I'd rather not mess around with Malik Neighbors if I don't have to. Yep. I would go Herbert, MVM. Go Herbert. Hopefully Ladd plays. If he doesn't, Herbert is still a good quarterback, and he should be able to make something happen with volume, and he's going to get volume tonight having to play Kansas City. Like, they will be throwing the football because they have to. I'll stick around for a bit longer. If anybody has any other questions, and we'll continue to monitor if there are any new injury updates. Again, the big one so far today is that George Pickens is out for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pickens will not play. So we downgrade that entire offense. We downgrade Russ. I guess more work is probably coming for both Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. Crumply heads, if you're still in here, that Warren maybe gets a slight boost, a slight uptick in potential production. So maybe a guy that's worth considering a little bit more over Westbrook-Akine, who I like a lot as a dart throw, as a deep shot, but Warren might have a little bit more volume coming his way with Pickens out. They may lean heavy on the run game this week, Pittsburgh. So Warren might be a decent pivot to somebody like Westbrook-Akine just from a volume perspective. They see increased chances with Pickens out. Calvin Austin, Van Jefferson, Roman Wilson is their rookie receiver from this year, I think. Yeah, none of these guys are viable. Pat Freiermuth figures to see 10 targets today, so he's a viable tight end one based on expected volume. And I wouldn't play Russ in one quarterback leagues. Superflex leagues, you may not have a choice. You may have to continue to stick with Russ and hope for the best. But one quarterback leagues, I would be pivoting off of Russell Wilson. I will not play him without George Pickens in a tougher matchup against Cleveland. All right. I don't see anything else. Might be a short stream. Obviously, if you need any last-minute thoughts or suggestions, you can always leave a question in the form of a comment. It could be on this live stream. It could be on any of any recent videos and streams on the channel. You could always just leave. You can always leave a comment on those streams after they air as a form of a question, and I can try to get to them before kickoff. You can also, again, join the Discord if you're not a member already, or if you're not a member of the Discord, not a member of the channel, but if you're not a member of the Discord, second link in the description of this live stream and all of the videos and streams on the channel. It is an evergreen invite. You can crowdsource thoughts from over there, and obviously I make myself a little bit more available in the mornings on Sundays in Discord as well if you have any last-minute questions. If everybody is good, though, I guess I can shut this down. We'll continue to keep tabs on injury updates as they flow in. Get George Pickens out of your lineup. Strongly consider getting Malik Neighbors out of your lineup, and strongly consider making alternate plans for Ladd McConkey, who is a game time decision on Sunday night. I'd rather pivot to an option that I know is a viable, competent, comparable option that I know is playing in the earlier window, and I don't have to mess around with Ladd's availability. That'll do it, I think, for me. I will be back on Tuesday for the first fantasy playoff lead up stream. We'll have waivers on for week 15 for the fantasy playoffs on Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'll have my normal allotment of live streams throughout the first week of the fantasy playoffs as well. But I guess that'll do it for me. Best of luck, everybody, today in your matchups. If you've clinched a playoff berth already, congratulations. Hopefully your team comes through unscathed. If you are still battling to clinch a playoff spot, best of luck. I hopefully have given you more help, and I've done more good than bad as far as helping you with your lineup decisions this year. I hope that's the case. Hopefully we get one more win. Let's clinch these playoff berths, and we'll start getting ready and shaping our rosters for our first postseason matchups next week. Best of luck, everybody. Thank you all. I will see you guys on Tuesday. Thanks, everybody.